Hey, what's going on, baby love?
Hi.
Hey, beautiful girl, you looking good today.
Oh, thank you. So do you. You look radiant. You have this candid glow about you.
Thank you. Well, you know how a little Mac Factor helps enhance it. But I am so glad to be back on the Healing Space podcast today and to be holding space with my beautiful sister. In case y'all don't know, my name is Qween Jean, Qween Jean, and this is my sister Ameirah Neal.
Hi, everybody. Um, at the Vain Beauty on Instagram. That's at the Vain Beauty, all one word. I'm not really vain on Instagram.
But she looks good, y'all. Damn.
Tell them your Instagram, sis. Tell them your Instagram.
You can find me at Qween Jean, QWEEN _JEAN. And we are here today because we just wanted to have a discussion, kitchen table talk,
Girl
um,
talk.
about healing through love and intimacy when you're a trans person. And we just really feel like there's a lot of conversations that like we've heard in like the last few months. You know, obviously with everything that's happening in the resilience movement, folks being able to finally have opportunity to speak and to speak without feeling that they'll be antagonized or that they'll be judged for it. So for us, I also feel like we also need this opportunity to share with the world that what we go through, and that for us, when we try to navigate love and intimacy, it is something that's very challenging. It often is not positive. It often doesn't really feel, for me personally, I don't feel complete in those relationships.
And it
I,
also says it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't feel authentic either. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to throw that in there that sometimes it doesn't feel authentic. The authenticity of the love is not,
it's not there.
it's not there.
I mean, this is so interesting because I feel that we are always hearing language about like trans love, trans attracted, people who are like cis assuming. I mean, I think that there's a lot of language that is out there, but I feel like people may not understand. I feel like people may not grasp, right? If a man loves a trans person, does that mean that he's gay? Like, I feel like these are conversations that I have with a lot of cisgendered men all the time. And I'm like, dude, boo, like I can't tell you what the answer is, right? Each person has their own journey. Each person has their own path, right, to finding intimacy and love. And if it happens to be with a
But
first experience, embrace it.
but but see okay. So when society does that, I'm sorry to cut you off against this, but
Ah,
like
go in, baby, go in.
when society does that to men, and particularly and particularly black men, because white men don't get flack if they're trans attracted and they're open about it. They don't get that much hoopla. But if a black man is trans attracted and he's open about it, you see what happened. Can we talk about Malik Yoba? I mean,
Look at me. Message, yes, let's talk. Let's talk.
here was a black man. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole logistics of him, coming out saying that he was trans attracted. Some people say it was for clout, whatever the case may be. But I don't believe that. Here we have a black man who comes out and say, I'm trans attracted. And it was almost like a fucking circus. It was
Yeah.
almost like a circus when this man came out and told the world that he was trans attracted. It was like everybody wanted this man on this talk show, on that talk show. And it was just like,
Yeah, I will say it felt sensationalized. It felt like it was a spectacle. And all the while I'm like, but I don't understand what the issue is. Trans women are women. Trans men
And
are men.
see, that's the part right there that society still do not accept trans women as women. So that's the reason why this whole, well, if I'm a heterosexual identifying man and I'm happen to be attracted to a trans woman, does that make me gay? Well, society put that label on me. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't really think that's fair that we label these men like this, because
Yeah.
I'm not gay. If you sleeping with me, you're not gay. I'm not a gay man. I'm a transgendered woman.
Period. A beautiful transgender woman.
If you
Beautiful.
sleeping with one of my other transgender sisters, that's not a man. That's a transgender woman.
But but do you feel like sometimes it's about the responses, or I guess just like how people will receive them, right? I can speak for myself. Oftentimes I feel like when we are in relationships, personally me, it always feels like it has to be kept secret. It always feels diminished. It always feels less than. Like I want to be able to be at a Sunday brunch with the girls, throwing it big, doing our this naive, and be able to like talk about my relationship with my partner. But the reality is like he's someone who's so like guarded and stealth like, right, that he doesn't want anyone to know. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute, boo, that's not gonna work for me. That's not gonna work for me, because I should be celebrated. I should be cherished. I should be someone that you want, right, to tell the world that you're with. So for me, and in those relationships, in the beginning, it feels great, right? Because you have that like physical connection with someone, and it ultimately always becomes physical. But for me, I feel like now moving into this next part of my life, intimacy is something that I'm really striving towards, and that intimacy does not have to be always associated with sex. And for me, I think it's something that a lot of men who are trans attracted, or who desire the body of a trans person, that's what they really solely focus on. And so for me, I like challenge these brothers out here. I'm strong enough to face the world with no reservations. I'm gonna need you to be strong as well. Period.
If not stronger.
Well, they can't be stronger, honey, because But yeah, what do you feel about that, sister? Like in terms of like men feeling that they have to conceal their truth in order to maintain respectability, street code, honor, in order to maintain the legacy of a Black man. That's a lot of questions, so we can like unpack
it is. Let's try to unpack that. You just kind of threw it on me, but we're gonna unpack it. I think because we already kind of like have as a society, we already kind of have the foot of America in the Black man's neck, right? That we don't really give him much room for nothing else.
Wow.
Like we don't really give him room for nothing else. Anything that is abnormal, anything that might seem abnormal. Not to say that we are abnormal as transgender individuals, but since the society that we live in, we are. So anything that is not of the normal that a Black man does, he's gonna be ridiculed times 10. So if I happen to be a highly educated Black man who just happens to be attracted to trans women, I'm this, I'm that, and the double standard with me is, how come we live in a society that praises women on women, But as soon as when it's like a trans situation, a trans attracted man or two guys on each other, it's like, oh my God. But like the whole my girl got a girlfriend. When that whole wave came out, rappers bragging about, yeah, my girl got a girlfriend. Oh, so it's cool when it's two women on women, but if anything besides that, it's a problem. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. I also feel like it's something that we as a society, right, as Black excellence, as Black people, we kind of have to unlearn and kind of dismantle these transphobic and these misogynistic ideals, right? Because yes, same gender love works in a multitude of ways. And it is something that I always feel like the energy that we put, the energy how we embrace someone who is same gender loving varies. Even like a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, actually, there was a really popular Black actor who came out, with his partner. And it definitely seemed that they received a lot of love. But then I was like, yeah, but like if someone came out and was like, hey, this is my one, like for example, if someone's like, hey, I'm with Laverne Cox, that's my shorty, that's my girl, that's who I'm rocking with. I don't know if they would get the same love. I feel like the Twitter warriors.
If you don't mind me asking, who was the Black actor?
That was Nicholas Ash. He, I think, he has been on Broadway.
Nicholas Ash.
He's been on Broadway, and he was also plays Micah on The Greenleaf.
Oh yeah,
Sorry, Queen Sugar. Oh Lord, Queen Sugar.
And I wonder why. I wonder why is that? Like, why is it always that type of rebuttal? Like, if ever there's like someone who comes out the closet and there's like, oh, I'm gay. It's like, oh yeah, go gay. But if they say, oh, I'm trans or I'm fucking with somebody that's trans, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I just feel like we really need to start as a community. We have an obligation to continue to love on each other. I feel like personally we are all, or at some point have all met and faced and experienced some kind of trauma, whether or not that's physical, verbal, or more than often it's sexually, that kind of sexual trauma and violence. So I feel like we don't have an opportunity to heal. And so we harbor all of these things that prohibit us from actually beginning to love, prohibit us from loving ourselves, prohibit us from having like empathy and like love for someone else who may be different from you, who may look different from you, whose path is different from yours. But that doesn't mean that they are less than, that they don't deserve to have love. And I think to me that's something that I really want. Moving forward, that conversation about healing is centered, because that's the only way that we are going to get out of this. That's the only way that we are going to be united, is if we have an understanding that we can all be together, we can all coexist, and I don't have to worry that if my homie is bisexual, I don't have to worry that if my homie is into Ameirah Neal, right? If he wants to pursue her, right? Because she's beautiful. I mean, you're a gorgeous girl, period. So it's like, why is that? Why does that feel like a burden, as opposed to an opportunity, right, to actually make connection?
Right. I agree.
And do you feel that there is difference between love and intimacy? And I guess we could even say between like sexual contact, or what are some of those differences for you, sister?
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like love and intimacy go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. But I would have to say intimacy is more of a you know, you don't have to, it don't always have to be bumping and grinding, you know, to be intimate. You know, we could just have a conversation. You know, you could caress my arm, or we could
Yes.
just sit down and gaze into each other's eyes without even saying anything. You know, it's a lot of ways you could be intimate with a person other than just taking their clothes off and screwing them, you know?
Girl, sometimes I don't even take the clothes off. Child, look, we know the vibes. We know the vibes. And like, what would you feel is something that, like, what would you want to say to someone, to like a dude who's like, hey, um, is there any advice or any direction that you would like give someone who is trying to be open, someone who's trying to embrace someone who's different from them, but like what would you help? I mean, not, and not that you have to give them an answer, but are there things that you think that they should keep in mind, right, if they're trying to approach the situation? Like, for example, if a dude was like, hey, Ameirah, I would like to get to know you, what are some things that he should keep in mind before he approaches the queen?
Keep in mind that I am, you know, a transgender woman, you know? So gotta keep that in mind, you know, be mindful of that. You know, understand that with that that with that comes traumas that I've experienced, and particularly from Black men. So when you're approaching, you know, kind of approach with caution. But that doesn't mean that you need to be on pins and needles. But it does mean that, you know, you should, if you're not going to be serious about it, about actually pursuing, if it's going to be more of a just experiment to see whether or not I want to get my rocks on by a tranny or not, then no. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not your girl. But if it's something real and concrete and you really want to see, then yeah, holla at me. But other
Okay.
than that, don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. And that's kind of where I'm at with it with men right now. Um, you know, I've tried to open the pond and do the interracial dating thing, but
Okay.
I'm just, listen, I like chocolate. That's my preference. That's my favorite flavor. I can't help it. It's the favorite crayon out the coloring box.
Espresso chocolate, caramel nougat. Oh yes, honey, we're down for the chocolate.
So, you know, when it comes to my brothers, it's just,
It's hard. It's hard.
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. But it's also, it's not only is it hard for us, Qween, but I know that it's hard for them too.
You know, it's something like when I think of that, I have some like look, transparency hour. So I was with the dude for like a year, and it was great. It was really, really exciting. It felt new to me at the time because I was like excited. He was a gentleman. You know, he helped me like well, not to hold me down, but he like helped me rise in the relationship as well. You know, we had to be cognizant of our language. My sister Mojo was like, look, we can't be saying that we want dudes to hold us down. That's not what we want anymore. We need for dudes to help rise us up. So he was someone who I felt was open to doing that. But it became very clear to me that he had a lot of challenges that he could not look past. You know, that he was like, well, like, I still want to get married. Um, you know, I still want to give, you know, my mom her grandkids and things like that. And I was just like, okay, what's the problem? You know, but I think for him, he was just so stuck on like having this like traditional ideal way. And I was like, look, boo, you're with me. So already that traditional shit, out the door. Like, I feel like there is, like, we can grow into something together. Like, we can approach those things on like a united front. But ultimately, I just felt like personally felt like I was like fighting to like prove to him. And I was like, look, brother, at this point, if those are the things that you want, and if you feel like you can achieve those with our relationship, that's great. So I'm going to help you and I'm going to move on. I just, to be honest, it was just like, I was hurt. I was hurt because I was
of course.
Constant reminder that you're going to tell me that somehow that I'm not enough. Right? That even though I can look a certain way, I can get my body to be a certain way, even though I've tried to do all these modifications, transformations, to help get to my closer into my true self, I'm still not enough.
Right.
Right? That like I'm not somehow worthy of like coming around your moms. I'm not worthy of being with your grandmas. Like I want to get some of her fried fish. I want to be with your Auntie Pam, getting that good old banana pudding together. Like I want that experience. I deserve that experience. So for me, it's something that when we talk about intimacy and relationships, for me, that is what Black love is. I want Black love. I am Black love. So for me, it's something that I really, really, really want to challenge our brothers out here because it's not easy. It's not easy to just walk out and be in your own lane all the time. It's not easy to live your truth.
And
so
there's so many of them out here that are trans attracted. There are so many of them out here that are trans attracted. And you like what the fuck you like. What the fuck?
Well, you should love me. But I mean, no, I totally agree, sister. I agree. And I mean, I just feel that hopefully as we are having more conversations, that like we are also centered, and that we don't have to often have rhetoric attached to our narrative, right? That like
Right.
I don't want for it to always be a negative conversation when we're discussing trans women and relationships and dating. It doesn't always have to be negative. It doesn't always have to be attached to sex work. It doesn't always have to be attached to something that seems debaucherous or that seems like sinful or taboo. Like this is 2020. We're in an age where representation is important. We are out here. We have amazing leaders and like public figures who are testaments that we can be powerful. We can be beautiful. We can be people.
Qween, sister, I think
We
I
need
lost
access.
you. You
Oh, I'm
there?
so sorry. Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. No, I was saying that I just feel like we need that access. We need access to love as well. That like we just can't always be an afterthought, and we can't be.
I think what you just said was very important. We need access to love as well. Out of everything that you said, I think that is the big thing that I walk away from with what you just said is just the simple fact that we need access to love as well.
Yes.
And it's our time. We deserve it. We're out here too.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line.
And
And sis, if he walking with me and we holding hands in hands, sis, I don't need you to be whispering to your homegirl, well, do he know that's a man, bitch? If he with me, he already know my tea. Y'all, you bitches, y'all love to do that shit. You cisgender women. I ain't trying to go.
And not all of our queens do
Not
that.
all of them. Not all of y'all. I ain't trying to go there. But some of y'all know who I'm talking to. You bitches be doing the most. If 9 chances out of 10, if he's walking with that trans girl and he's holding her hand and they're walking down the street together, you best believe he already know her tea. So what we don't need is for you and your homegirl to be upset at me and my homegirl.
Okay, because if you can't go to Bella Noche and
Where
twerk on,
can you go?
where the hell can you go? You know, sister, what I love about what you're saying is that there is a conceit in this like theory, right? That like trans folks, that like we are deceitful, that we're
Yeah, girl, it's not always calling for that.
that we're out here trying to goop these niggas. I'm gonna say niggas. Boo, fuck that. I don't need to goop or hide anything. I'm living
Right.
truth, boo. If you see me out here, I'm living my truth. And I would only ask that you respect that. That
I
I'm
don't need to I don't need to hide and lie to nobody, and I don't need to do that. It ain't that. No, this is 2020. We out here.
sister. Do you feel? Look, I'm gonna get right to it. Do you feel that there is a problem with the DL um, conceit of men? And what I mean by that is there an issue when we as trans folks take in or accept these DL, I guess like these relationships about how we navigate through our, like, just like how we navigate. I personally feel like I perpetuate a lot of that pain, a lot of the trauma, if I'm like opening my door in my house, in my bedroom, to someone who doesn't really see me, someone who's like not actually open and truthful with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Um. Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that DL men has always, that's what they do best. They DL.
Yeah, and then I would
You
also
know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't really restate the question.
Yeah, I guess I'm just asking, like, do we feel that in 2020, do we need to perpetuate relationships with DL men? Do we need to continue to allow them?
We need to stop fucking with DL men. That's my answer. We need to stop fucking with DL men for 2020 and all moving forward.
We
It's
need to
just not healthy.
the DL men.
It's just not healthy. It's just not healthy. I know the whole trade and the whole thug and masculine. You can find masculinity from a nigga who gonna walk with you out in the street. It's just not. It's just not. The whole DL aspect is not worth it. Like, I personally, knowing that she was in my bed the night before, but yet you see me walk down the street and you won't speak to me, but she was just in my bed the night before, that's not gonna work for me. That's just not gonna work for me. That's just not gonna work for me. So no.
You know, it's so funny because and I will just well, maybe I should have prefaced that these experiences that we're talking about are of our own experience, things that we have experienced. I'm not trying to say that this is how every experience is, or this is every person's narrative.
No, and I want to make sure too that we're speaking. Me and Qween are speaking on from me and Qween's experiences. We're not speaking for the whole trans community. No, we are two trans women who are speaking from our experiences. Notice that I said our experiences,
Message.
not everybody else's experiences. No, from our own personal experiences. And I hope that we're clear on that, because we're not the guru. We're not the gurus of the trans community, nor are we trying to be. We're just trying to give an insight on our experiences of where we are and what we have dealt with and what we are dealing with in being transgender.
Yeah.
That was just a disclaimer.
Yeah. Because I would definitely say that for me personally, I think in the beginning, when I pursued these these men. And I think, I mean, I feel like the language of DL men is also evolving. So I definitely want to give honor and grace for that and space for that, because I feel like that may also be on a like tide of change and like evolution. But I think for me, in the beginning, I was seeking validation. And so I think I got instant validation, like when I was with a dude, or like, you know, a dude who presented himself in a way that was overly masculine, right? That somehow that balanced me trying to be overly feminine. That like he just allowed me to be femme and things like that. And the way that he would respond to me, that I was his girl, all these things. But I really realized the reality is he was with me, but he didn't see me. He was with me, but he wanted me to cover what's between my legs. He was with me, but he didn't want me to be without makeup. He was with me, but he wanted, like, there were all these stipulations. It was a contract. I don't want no fucking contract. I want a relationship. And for me, it was something that I was like, you know what? This has got to end. I can no longer allow for this person to think that that is what my value is. And oftentimes, and this is like no shade, but a lot of these men are fragile, right? They feel some type of way, or if they get threatened or they feel like somebody might know, who's to say that he might not get violent with me? That is violence. That's scarcity. So for me, I just feel like I can no longer be in those relationships. I have 2 trans sisters who were killed in 2015 and 2017. And so for me, I was just like, look, I need to move in a different lane. Yeah. I need to respect and with care and with grace. And there is someone out there who will meet me with that. But I just cannot subject myself to that anymore. Truly, I couldn't. And, you know, sister, there's something about love that I think for me starts at the beginning. To me, love starts at home. And I will definitely say I'm someone who, like up until now, I'm still exploring and I like discovering what does love look like for me. I would definitely say that I did not feel love when I was growing up in my own home. Yeah, our parents provided for us, but it definitely was something that I did not feel love. And I know that you have a different experience with you and your mom. I would love for you to talk about that as well. But I think for me, when I see parents like Dwayne and Gabrielle Union, like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, like they to me are like, they're the future. They are showing us that we as Black parents, we can love our children. We can love our children in any facet, anything, like we love them fully. We do not try to diminish them. We don't try to throw them on the football team. We don't try to buy him extra big pants. We don't try to get him to swag and surfing and dipping and tupping. We don't have to do that. We will allow our children to be themselves. And that to me is something that I
think that is like the most important part, is that we allow our children to be themselves. Like, we have to allow them to walk in their own journey, right? We can't force or project what we want their life to be. We have to kind of like let them take that step for themselves in whatever direction that they go, and just be there to give them support, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, I would definitely say, I think for me, I equated sex with love as a teenager. As a teenager, you know, as you know, a little thought burrito in my 20s. I thought that was love. That if we had great sex, or that this dude like held me down, or if he like, you know, came through all, you know, throughout the week, you know, that was love. I was sadly mistaken. Yeah. And it definitely took a while for me to kind of detach myself from that kind of from that language of love, because it wasn't love. I had to actually dismantle it and unlearn those habits, because for me, I really thought that like, if this person showed up for me in this capacity, that like he would that meant that somehow that it was love. And
Right.
father had loved me. I wish my father said he loved me. I mean, these are things that I'm still waiting on, but whatever. But it's something that I just felt like if for our younger generation, like I think the way that we can start healing in our families, in our communities, is to really just start to love on each other. And for that love to really be part of our everyday thinking. That love needs.
And do it now. Do it now while they're young. Don't wait to love on them when they older. You didn't did some mistakes and fucked around and did some shit to the child that you wasn't supposed to do, and now the child 38 years old and you want to come back and apologize. The child all traumatized and traumatize somebody else, then traumatize somebody else because they the traumatized. We don't. As Black people, we gotta stop that motherfucking shit. We really gotta stop that shit. It is time. That means for all these people out here who know. I read this story. I'm sorry. I read this story, sister. I didn't mean to go off like that. I read this story on Instagram. The lady was talking about how her husband, it's her husband. The husband molested the stepdaughter, and the woman is like, the family doesn't want to get the police involved. They want to handle it traditionally. And she's all like, well, I don't know what to do. What do you think I should do? Should I abide by what my family is saying and not get the police involved and let's just handle it traditionally? First of all, let's unpack this real quick.
Yes.
You just said that this man is raping your daughter, and you are contemplating or not if you should go to the police because of what the family, and you know that in the African American community, that shit happens a lot in the household. A child is being molested, somebody touching on a child, and everybody know, but don't nobody want to say nothing. Because it's we're going to take it to the church. Let the church go to church and pray about it. No. If it's something that's going on, I was always told that if it's something that's going on in a household, you let somebody know. You let somebody know, because that shit can hurt you. That shit can cause trauma. A lot of what we go through as adults stems off of the shit that we went through as children, from trauma, from unresolved shit that our parents did. And not to, blame them, because of course our parents are simply that, they're human. So of course humans are going to make mistakes, but it's just, I think that as a race, we got to be a little bit more mindful of the generational things that we do and the things that we've done from generation to generation to generation.
Honey, generational trauma is real.
Yeah.
Like it's something that I always feel like I've been asking this whole week. Like, what are they really afraid of? What are people afraid of? What are people afraid to say? Like, why are they afraid to say, I love you? Why are they afraid to embrace us as trans people into the community? Why are they afraid to challenge someone who says something crazy? And I think a lot of times that fear is something that is learned, that if we don't follow this path, anything out of the path is like unknown. So because it's unknown, we don't trust it, we don't like it, and we're going to do everything to keep it out. And I just really want to challenge people. We can no longer be afraid, because fear has kept us in the margins. Fear has kept us from loving on each other. Fear has kept us from healing. Fear has allowed for these wounds to perpetuate, to deepen. That is what fear is. Fear does not allow us to grow. Fear stunts our growth. There's no way that my dad was going to say, I love you, because his daddy ain't never said, I love you to him. And I had to say that.
From generation. That's what I mean. We gotta break that. But one thing though, Qween, that I will say that I have seen a spike in, and I'm very proud of my Black brothers. I have seen a lot of my young Black brothers step up to the plates of being daddies.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. I have seen a lot of, my young Black brothers out there, stepping up, even if they're not with the baby mama, they still stepping up and being great daddies. No, for real. And I think, I remember coming up, it was such a large generation of deadbeat dads. And it's great now to see, no, for real, just calling a spade. And it's like now it's good, I'm 31 and I could see that generational curse kind of lifted. You could see that these younger kids out here that's my age, they're really taking care of their kids, and that's great. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Because I get tired of hearing that the Black men don't take care of their children and Black men aren't good dads. I get tired of hearing that. I get tired of hearing that. So I want to make sure that I give praise where praise is due.
Message. There's something that I've been in conversations with folks and friends about, is like, what is it also like for trans men, in terms of their experiences, even when they're navigating love. And it's something that I feel like, sometimes as trans women, like, we have to also call ourselves in. And like a few of my friends, like, well, like there are moments where like we kind of like do a disservice to ourselves when we also don't embrace and fully love on our trans brothers, our trans men. That like somehow we feel that they're not adequate, or that they're not enough. And I'm like, whoa, first off, and this is like, I've had some conversations and I'm just like, we have got to really, like, that is still trauma that we're not trying to like push onto somebody else. It's unacceptable, period. Like for me, like, I am so open at this point, and not open like, oh, I want to try, but it's like I am desiring true intimacy, true love, and I want for that person to also be as open as I am, and to understand, look, I don't have all the answers. I'm still navigating. I'm still developing and growing. But I just feel like we also have a responsibility to not exclude, to not diminish, or to not make anyone else feel small, while we're also in this fight together.
I agree. We can all listen. It is a big ass table. We can all have a seat at the motherfucking table.
Message.
We could all have a seat at the table. We could all sit at the table. We could all come sit at the table. That's just that simple. We could all come sit at the table, niece.
It's so funny you say that, because I was at a women's march in Brooklyn last weekend. It was powerful. It was magical. And it was really affirming to see the range and the beauty of Black women. And Eric Garner's mother, Gwen Carr, she said she shared so many gospel truths with us. It was amazing. But one thing that I really, really loved that she said was that, women, we need to be at the table, like you're saying. And if we are not at the table, then we are on the menu. That has stuck with me all week, because I'm like, okay, how can we begin to really break that? How do we begin to have opportunities and to see representations and us reflected in positive ways, in positive light? That, again, isn't always attached to the trauma, that somehow that we can heal through our love.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, babe?
It's interesting that you say that. Like, whenever I hear Black trans woman, right? she's always associated with the trauma. It's never, they never talk about the Black trans joy. It's always, well, she's a sex worker, and the statistics say that they don't live past this age, and this, and that. And it's just like, oh my gosh. Like, could we talk about something else? Like, could we focus on the liberation of Black trans women? Could we focus on the joy of Black trans women? Like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear your statistics today. Like, thank you so much. I appreciate it, but no, not today. Like, give me something else. And I get so sick of that. And I noticed that it's done by the heterosexual society. They do that a lot, where it's like, oh, the trans, African American trans woman, well, she's murdered, or she's this, or she's that. And it's like, I'm so sick of hearing that negative condensation. I don't want to hear that, because I think we discussed this in our last episode. We're so much more than that. The Black trans woman experience is so much more bigger than that, So
yeah. I mean, Black trans women are women. Period. We are creators. We are healers. Right? Like, I just feel that, like, our narrative, like, we are expansive, just like our community.
We are family, we're friends, we're sisters, we're mothers, we're daughters, we're best friends. It's.
And to me, it's like, I feel we as a community really need to come together and stand firmly on it. Like I mentioned last time, like, when I see violence against trans women and trans men, it just, to me, it really makes me feel like, what are we not doing? Like, what are we not doing enough? Like, why we continually have to prove why we matter, why our existence matters. But you think that you're going to beat it out of me? You will not. You will not, and you cannot, because I am spiritually fortified, and I am made in His vision and His likeness. So I just really feel like I cannot, like, when those moments happen, it's really upsetting. It's actually heartbreaking. I keep thinking about Ameirah Neal, and that, like, wow, this is a young woman, right, who was fighting for her life. Fighting for her life. She had a small interview, and she said, I was fighting to get back into the store because I knew if they killed me, I wanted it to be on tape.
That's what she said.
And sister, it's something that I'm just like, we have got to continue.
And it's so sad that she said that with so much normal, like, it was just, she said that, the way she said that was like, it's normal and it's okay. Like, that's okay. Like that should be an okay action, and it's not okay for someone to be beaten up like that. Like, that whole situation really made me upset. That Ameirah Neal situation, it really kind of really made me upset.
Truly. And I think for us, like, for me especially, like, I want to live in a world where there is Black trans liberation, where liberation is for our entire community, where we are able to hold space, we're able to take up space, and equally be received, equally be celebrated. I don't want to only be celebrating Black and brown trans women when they're gone, when their love and their light has been turned out, when their beauty has been pulled out of this world. I want us to continue to give reverence and honor to each and to each and every one of us, Because to me, that is what healing is like. That to me is the definition of healing, right? When I don't have to think about pain, when I don't have to feel like someone's gonna harm me, where I can literally walk out of my house carefree, that I don't have to worry about someone being so upset, or someone dealing with hatred, someone dealing with their own demons, whatever it may be, but somehow you're bothered by my freedom and you feel that I don't deserve my freedom. I'm here to tell them that I do, and I'm going to continue to fight for my freedom. My sister, Deja Smith, who's an incredible artist and storyteller, she said something this weekend that stuck with me. I think it's very powerful, and I really think that it like kind of really culminates and sums up what we've been talking about, sister. And it's a quote that she said: "Black trans healing is necessary, and Black trans joy is revolutionary." And when I think about that, it being revolutionary, that our love is enough. Our love
is enough.
Right? That we can be able to heal without having to put someone else down. I can uplift and celebrate and defend a Black man, but he should also, without reservation, be willing to fight and defend
me. Exactly. But most of them, but the problem that we have, the problem that's going on is that most of them are not. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's one of the reasons why you didn't see me go out there with Black Lives Matter movement, because I'm tired. I'm tired of getting up and jumping up and whooping and howling that Black Lives Matter, but when a trans woman, Black lives get killed, don't nobody talk about it. It's ghosts. The white community don't talk about it. The Black community don't talk about it. Don't nobody talk about it. Don't nobody got shit to say about it when a Black transgender woman is murdered. Don't nobody got a motherfucking thing. The newsrooms don't got nothing to say about it. The president don't got nothing to say about it. The congresswoman don't nobody got nothing to say. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Message.
Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Message.
Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Because some of them were out vacationing on the beach. You know, sister, I would love to ask you, if you don't mind sharing, how are you healing currently? And how would you like to heal moving forward?
Currently, I am just doing a lot of self. I'm just being still.
Oh,
I'm at a place of stillness. And you know what? It took me a while to really understand it, because I had to talk to a friend. I had to talk to Willie yesterday.
Hey, Willie.
Hey, Willie. And I'm at a place of stillness. And I feel like the universe is telling me that I need to listen. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm at a place of stillness, and that's honestly is helping me with a lot of healing. My mother's birthday was on Tuesday, so I'm in a place. Normally around this time, I'm always in that place of just stillness, just listening to the universe and seeing what's next, you know.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, baby.
You're welcome, babe.
Because I know it's. I love you. I think for me, honestly, I felt the most healed in the last 3 months, while we're in a national crisis, an epidemic. but I felt the most healed. And that is because I have been reading a lot. You know, honey, I just, it's like every other morning, you know, I just have to revisit James Baldwin, Nikki Giovanni, Toni Morrison, our ancestors have given us these touchstones, these tools to kind of help us, I think, explore and investigate how we can get to healing. So for me, I try to constantly go back and kind of like re-up on that knowledge and on that, in that love. Because to me, those writers, those thinkers, those creators, they were filled with love. They were filled with love for a community that sometimes didn't love on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me, healing love. That's, literally in every way possible. I think to me, love is my anthem. Love is my cross, and like love is my sword and my shield. I know that I have got to maintain my love if I'm ever going to heal. Because if I allow for hatred, or if I allow for pain, if I allow bitterness to literally get any more space in my body, love will not have enough to help me sustain. So for me, I'm making it an effort, a daily commitment to recite my love, to remember my love, and to actually be able to see how can I personify love today? Who have I not checked in with? Who's, who can I be of service to? For me, that is something that has really propelled me and kind of kept fueling, has continued to fuel me the last 3 months. And I pray that continues. I love what you said about stillness, because I think oftentimes we just move with such haste that we do not have time to think.
It's almost like we just move with the wind. We don't really sit still and like feel the wind. We're just moving with it.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh.
But I think we're wrapping down. I think we got like I know. Is there anything else you want to add?
Sister
Before
Ameirah,
we go? I love talking to you. I miss you.
I just want to hold space for you. I want to say I love you. I want to say I thank you. You have been so integral in my life the last 3 months, because you've really showed me that there is love. You've showed me love, and you've shown me that there's power in our love. That Black trans women, we are not less than. We are not we don't have to compare ourselves. We all we all come from different experiences, different backgrounds. We are all beautiful, different shades and hues, but we all possess love. And I feel like you've really kind of anchored that for me, our relationship, our friendship, our sisterhood. Truly, I just want to just hold space and love on you, because that to me has been so important. That to me has been part of my healing, because I'm like, wow, I didn't know that I could have access, right, to a relationship with another trans woman who is so beautiful and like continually teaches me and inspires me, who's an artist. What? Who's a dope artist. So for me, I just love you. I want to hold space for you. And I would love to hold space today as well for the Healing Space Podcast. Thank you, Raven.
Thank you, Raven. Thank you for that, Queen. I love you, sister.
Bisou, bisou, bisou. I love you.
I love you.
I mean, I would just, again, like I said, I just want to challenge our community to fight for us to heal, to fight for us to find ways to heal, for us to coexist, because we're not going anywhere. Honey, Black trans women and men ain't going nowhere. So get used to it.
Boop, boop.
Thank y'all for joining us today on the Healing Space Podcast. My name is Qween Jean.
And my name is Ameirah Neal.
To love and heal, everyone. We'll talk to you guys real soon.
Boop, boop.